I know God's timing is not our timing. And sometimes we get frustrated. And if you would share a story that you shared concerning your daughter, whereas it seemed as if he didn't move until the 10th hour, and sort of like what the lesson is that someone could take away from that.
Okay, I had shared with you about my daughter getting ready to go to grad school out in Washington, and it was very expensive to live out in Washington. We didn't know how we were going to afford for her to go out there, but we were looking for places. We had 4 weeks to pick an apartment before she went out there. And so we were looking for a place. We came to this one place that was very beautiful. We went inside. It was $2,600. It was no way we could afford that. But it just so happened the day that we drove up and went into that apartment that the manager said they were having a special with a program and that we could apply for it if you were a resident. We weren't residents, but he still allowed us to apply because she was going to be a student at DC. He said that it would only take a week for us to find out the results. A week went by, we didn't find out anything. 2 weeks went by, we didn't find out anything. The 3rd week went by, we still didn't find out anything. And so I was telling my daughter that, okay, it's time for us to make a decision. We applied for another apartment, let's go ahead and get the other one. And she said, no, Mommy, I don't want to do that. This is the place that I want, so let's fast. And so we fasted for 3 days, and we still didn't hear anything. And so I was just, well, before that, I was saying we need to make another plan. And so she said, no, let's fast. And I said, okay, I'm going to stand with you on this. We still didn't hear anything. But 2 days before it was time for her to actually start school, we didn't have another apartment there. We didn't know where she was going to live. We didn't know if she had received the apartment. They called us and they said, we don't know what happened, but her name was taken off of the application for her to participate in the program. But all of a sudden, her name was placed back on. And I believe that was because my daughter's faith. She was praying and she was fasting and she did not give up. And because of that, God blessed us and we stayed with her. It was scary at first because you feel like, okay, I got to be responsible. I need to have a place. It's 2 days before. And so I was sharing with you that you said, well, what do you do? How do you know God is going to come through? And I was saying, when you get to that place that God knows that it's all of you is out now, because you've done everything you can. You've tried to figure out how you're going to work it out. You've tried to call everybody else. You've tried to negotiate and figure out and do and strategize. And now you've exhausted all the other means. And so now you have to focus on him. Then he stepped in, and it was at the last hour. It was 2 days. We had to call our employers, call the moving company, and everybody was on game, on board with allowing us. So even with that, God allowed us to tell our employers, we got to go now. And so we were able to go, and she was blessed. And she also had an assistership program that also furthered paying for her college and the rest she needed for college. The rest she needed for her apartment. So all of this just showed me that God wants us to really get to a place where we're really trusting him. And he showed me that we say we're trusting in him, but we're not. We're trusting in him, but we're still having another hand on the phone, another foot in another door, another half of our mind trying to figure it out. He wants all of us to really be surrendered and trusting him. It doesn't mean that you can't be prepared to do other things, because he wants us to be a steward. But trusting in him, I would say, is really being at peace, really being at rest. And you know that a good, easy, simple sign of that is, how well are you sleeping at night? How well do you wake up in the morning? What kind of person are you? Are you at peace? Are you a different person when you wake up? Are you thankful? Are you a blessing to your family when you woke up because you went to bed in peace with your family? So God just showed us over and over in everyday life all the time. I said to you that you would not know what God could do, the yes in our lives, if we wouldn't experience the no's. And even though the no's bring fears and anxiety, He doesn't want that to happen. He wants us to be in such a place that we are steadfast and unmovable in our faith, knowing that even in the midnight hour, He's going to show up. And the truth is, He always does.
All right. Made me think about Fred Hammond. Late in the midnight hours, God's going to work it out.
And He does.